Jason, it's been a really long time since we've talked about gas stations, since both of us have electric cars now.
I'm so happy you introed like this because I was hoping you would. But yes, every time I go past a gas station and I realize, or like I see the price of gas, I continually realize that I no longer care about the price of gas.
Yeah, exactly. I had the occasion to rent a car this past week, which meant, you have to bring it back full. You got to fill up with gas, which meant as I was driving, I was thinking about it and I was like, ooh, that one's 2 cents cheaper than that one. Ooh, that one's 2 cents cheaper than the first one. And then I realized that I didn't really care because I only needed to buy like half of one tank of gas once in this 6-month period. So maybe I should stop trying to optimize. But while I was getting gas, I was at a SheetZ, which is like a fancy, I don't know, convenience store attached to a gas station kind of a thing. It's like a small version of Buc-ee's, like a light version of Buc-ee's, I think.
Really light version, but yes.
Yes. I mean, less of a cult following, whatever. Although maybe this will change that, this news that we have here. And while I'm pumping the gas, my favorite thing to do, there is a ad on the gas pump, of course, because of course there is, showing me a video of a thing. And I wasn't really paying close attention. And then I was kind of like looking at it and it was just like, wait a minute, that's that dude, the blonde guy from Fortnite. Like, what is he doing on a gas pump? And then I realized that this is an ad for a gamer thing on a gas pump at a SheetZ. And the thing they were advertising
was
you. SheetZ. Yeah, they got me. Exactly. Like, and then
they got you. They got you.
It was ridiculous. I was so mad. And of course, then now I'm here talking to you about it.
Yeah, I know. It's done exactly what it was supposed to do.
This is terrible.
Yeah, they got you. I have now watched this video. I watched it on YouTube, and it would have gotten me too. It would have gotten me too. It's called, or the advertising campaign is SheetZ Run Only Up, and you know what? I think it's really good.
That's the thing. I also think it's not a bad idea of a brand synergy thing that they're doing. Basically, it's a Fortnite island. So they use the creator thing in Fortnite to make a Fortnite level, I guess you'd say, where it's kind of like a level from Fall Guys, where you just have to jump up a spirally tower of, I guess, SheetZ food. Like they had like giant tomatoes and like big chicken nuggets and stuff that you had to like jump on and stuff. I have not played this, to be clear, and I do not intend to bother to install the 100 gigabytes that is Fortnite in order to play a brand tie-in game, but it is an interesting concept.
A Fall Guys level is a really good way to explain it. I was trying to think of a way to I was like jumping puzzle or, but Fall Guys level is like, it's a race. It's a race to the top. But it's really cool. The level's really cool. It's like, yeah, it's a great marketing tie-in, but I just love the name because a SheetZ Run is absolutely a term that we use, that I and my family use around here. Like doing a SheetZ Run is, hey, we're going to run to SheetZ and grab like hot food because they're open 24 hours. It's fat, it's good, fast, it's decent, fast food. You can buy like, prepackaged snacks at the thing. Like doing a SheetZ Run is a thing. Like I've said those words before. So the marketing campaign being called SheetZ Run Only Up, and it's a running like race up a tower of SheetZ food. It's just really, really on point marketing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean they did a good job, and they made this fun little commercial thing that's like, I don't know, they built a SheetZ inside of Fortnite, like a 3D like SheetZ, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But the other side of this is there are gas stations on the Fortnite map. I wonder if they've changed to SheetZ because like what another like great marketing time. Oh yeah. 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 I mean, games that are branded are not a new thing. I mean, we've talked about it a long time ago, I think. But I actually had a lot of fun with Chex Quest back in the day, which was a game that came on a CD attached to a Rice Chex cereal box. And it was just a reskin of Doom with Rice Chex anthropomorphic characters. It was really weird. Now it's on Steam, by the way. If you ever want to play Chex Quest HD, it's on Steam. But yeah, I guess food and games, they kind of go together because they want you to buy stuff and you buy food and you can eat food while you play games. So I guess it makes sense. I mean, they do stuff with like World of Warcraft, like occasionally, and Mountain Dew has gamer fuel and all that stuff. So I guess maybe this is just the next iteration.
I like these marketing tie-ins that don't take away from anything, right? Like I feel like, having a Sheets in Fortnite and Sheets having a level in Fortnite, like, is only additive. I really think it's only additive. And like, if you don't want to engage with it, you don't engage with it. But otherwise, like, it's fine. I think this is a really good one. I think this is really well done. And it put a smile across my face. And you said, I'm not going to reinstall Fortnite 100 gigabyte game for just this Sheets level. And I think you're right. But if you would let me take a moment to maybe convince you to install Fortnite anyway, we are recording this on May the 4th. Yeah. So May the 4th be with you. But also, Fortnite just released their battle pass, their new battle pass for this season, and it is all Star Wars.
Oh, well, I mean, I do like Star Wars.
And the last time there was a big Star Wars tie-in in Fortnite, it was actually pretty good. It was kind of fun. There were some missions, and like you were on you would drop. I really liked it because there was a reason to play other than just the battle royale, right? Like we were going in, we were trying to complete like a mission. I think you were counter spying on the Empire or something. I don't remember the specifics, but it was like a cool tie-in. Like there was a cool, like there always are in Fortnite. There's always some kind of tie-in to the season, but like it being Star Wars just added a little bit more for me. So I'm kind of tempted to reinstall Fortnite right now to try this latest battle pass just to see what it's like and just have a little bit of fun. Like not that I'm going to be a huge Fortnite player again, but like it's fun to come back to every now and then.
I mean, the price is right. It's free, so you can just try it. You just need 100 gigabytes of hard drive space.
Welcome to Pride and Accomplishment. My name is Jason.
And I'm Chris. This is episode 152. Did you get a Switch 2 pre-order, Jason?
I said last episode that I was going to try to get one, but I wasn't going to stress about it.
Mm-hmm. How'd that go?
I think I maybe stressed about it a little bit too much, but not a lot. I did stay up the Thursday night into Friday when it was coming out, I think, right? When it went on pre-order?
Yep, Thursday night into Friday, yep.
Pre-orders opened at midnight. I decided wrongly to try to get one from Best Buy at first, and then started refreshing Target, and then eventually went to Walmart. Long story short, didn't get one. It didn't end up that night. I was up from midnight to 1 a.m. and at 1 a.m. I called it and I said, I'm going to bed. So no, I did not get one. And a couple days later, some more came available. Still did not get one. At this point, I do not have a pre-order and I am choosing not to stress about it.
Yes, very deliberately choosing. Good job. I also stayed up from midnight till about 1 a.m. I fell asleep in front of my computer practically. But I was trying Target first and refreshing, and I had it in my cart, and I had, the checkout, and the checkouts were terrible and they didn't work. And then I was worried that I was going to end up with 7 Switch 2s charged to my card. But no, 0 Switch 2s got charged to my card that night. Best Buy took forever to come up. I mean, they didn't I couldn't even see the thing on Best Buy until I want to say 12:40 or something like that.
Yeah, they didn't go live until late.
And then Walmart had a queuing system and everything. And I had totally counted Walmart out. And I was like, I'm not going to worry about Walmart. It's fine. Maybe I'll check that one, if I can't get the others or something. But Walmart, from stories I heard from people, was the most orderly and the most reasonable. And people had the most success if they had gotten in the queue at Walmart first. But I did not do that either.
Walmart seemed the most fair and the least buggy.
Yeah, and I don't know why they don't all just do that. Why don't they all just do a little Ticketmaster queue thing and have you do that? But I guess that's their choice. They also had GameStop was the next day. GameStop opened their pre-orders at, I want to say 11 a.m. Eastern, and I did try to get on GameStop and get it reserved, and I couldn't. Their site was just crashed to Cloudflare all the time, so that was kind of a mess. But if you went in person to a GameStop, I hear you actually might have had a pretty good chance at securing a in-store pre-order for GameStop.
Okay. All right.
I didn't do that either.
What I learned through all of this is that Walmart is the place to go for pre-orders.
Apparently.
I never thought I'd say that, but I guess that's the place.
Yes. Speaking of Walmart being the place for pre-orders, 2 days later, I want to say on Saturday morning, I think it was, it came out on Thursday night. And then Saturday morning, I saw some note on Discord somewhere or something that said, "Hey, Walmart has stock," and I was like, "Oh, interesting." So, and it was like 4 a.m. Like I was up anyway. I was already up. So it was 4 a.m. and I popped onto Walmart, and there it was. Add to cart, switch to Mario Kart bundle. And so I added to my cart and I checked out with PayPal and it worked somehow. And I got the email and I have a receipt and I keep checking my Walmart account like every 3 days just to make sure they didn't cancel it on me and not tell me. But so far, it looks like I have a pre-order at Walmart for launch day delivery.
That's great. That's really good. I think I saw that same availability later in the day. I think I saw it around 8 a.m. maybe, but they didn't have the Mario Kart one available. And I said, I'm not buying a regular one. I'm not going to pay $80 for Mario Kart. I'm going to get the bundle whenever I am able to. I'm going to get the bundle. So really happy you got it though. That was clutch. I don't know
luck. It was
why
pure luck.
More became available on Saturday, but that was way to scoop that up. That was good.
I've had this happen. Like I think with the PS5, I had that happen also where I had didn't get one at pre-order, but then eventually I managed to score a pre-order from Amazon. I don't think Amazon is doing pre-orders for the Switch 2. Like they're not one of the partners.
Not. There is no official merchandise from Nintendo available on Amazon.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
They have some fight going on, I guess, that I read about really shortly and said, oh, that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah, something about honoring release dates. I don't know. Amazon just doesn't care.
Oh, because Amazon ships stuff early.
Yep.
Yeah, Amazon ships it whenever. Okay, I understand. Yeah, I could see where Nintendo might get a little bent out of shape about that.
Yep.
Walmart apparently is doing like courier from store morning of on the June 5th on launch day.
That's pretty normal for them for a lot of stuff now. I mean, more than I've like, even when you're buying it online, like just a normal product, I've noticed them doing more and more deliveries from just stores.
It makes sense. If you've got the inventory and you've got the real estate, you may as well. But anyway, I still have my interest registered on the Switch site, on the actual official Nintendo site for a Switch 2 pre-order. So they're supposed to be sending something out, I think, this week as we record. So if I get that email from Nintendo, you and I might want to have a conversation.
That's a good idea. I like that. Okay. All right. Hit me up.
I'll let you know. I still don't have no idea if I'm, cool enough to be on their list because I think I meet all their criteria, but who knows? I was looking at my Switch account earlier today, on the eShop or whatever, and it said that I had been a Nintendo Switch Online member for like 6.5 years. I was like, really? Wow. Okay. But in that time, I've only spent $140 for all 6.5 of those years of Nintendo Switch Online subscription because their subscription is reasonably priced, unlike other people, Sony. So anyway, so I'll let you know if that comes up. I'll let you know.
Okay. Now I'm hoping you get a second one, and we'll figure that out.
All right.
Last week on the show, I think it was the pre-show, I mentioned to you, Chris, that I had a little bit of a Factorio itch. And I think the last statement I said is that a Factorio itch typically turns into a Factorio run within 2 to 3 weeks. Well, I was way overshooting there because a couple days later, I did restart a Factorio playthrough, and I have been playing tens of hours, I think, at this point.
Wow.
In Factorio. I did decide to continue a previous run. So, I mean, it wasn't super far along. I think I had Blue Science done, which is like the second science. And I was a little bit further than that, but I had barely touched like oil, or maybe that's the third science, red, then green, then blue. So I had done the third science and I had just kind of started oil, which is, I don't know, typically a couple hours into a game. But I think those first couple hours are the most rote, or like kind of like, what you're doing, like you just have to do it. So it was really nice to pick up from there and continue. That run had been it had been established in such a way that I was going to continue it into a space age run that Like I knew I was going to grow from. So it was, the bus was set up how I wanted it, and it was just a really good one to pick back up. I did originally, when I started that run a while ago, didn't have mods, but I did install mods and kind of convert the save to a mod run for this time. Not super game changing mods, just a couple of the ones we talked about, quality of life stuff and such like that. But I've been having a very good time with Factorio, and I'm glad I got back into it. I don't know if I'm going to make it past where I made it last time, but I will say I'm experiencing planets that you experienced before. Like, I think the first time we played it, you played Fulgora. Like, you did most of the stuff there, and this time I did, obviously, because I'm playing mostly solo, like, did that planet. So it is fun to experience the new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that we did split it up last time, and now you can kind of do it all yourself, which is pretty cool. Did it give you any trouble converting it to a mod run, like adding mods to an existing save? No, you just install the mods and then you load the save. And when you save it from that point forward, right, mods are associated with that save. So it becomes a little bit more difficult to remove the mods. But adding them is really easy. I like what you said about like having it be like a branching point for like space age. I almost feel like you need like a good baseline, just everything set up to that point with a solid infrastructure as a way to like almost to like save like fork from that particular save like you did, but like keep that one, like keep the base that it came from to use for future runs.
I saved it. Yeah. A lot of times I just overwrite my save. I know some people save like every couple hours or whatever, or every day. No, I kept that one. I kept that save kind of as an unmodded save, and then I actually saved it separately as, okay, I'm starting this as a modded save now. So I do have a point to, like, if I wanted to just start over again, but I was really happy with that beginning, I could do it again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess if you're really serious about it, the randomness of the map is like part of the character of the game, but also I don't know if I care that much.
It is. I think it is a lot. Like, I've been watching a lot of people on YouTube play, and the randomness of the map is interesting. I mean, I think some of the decisions you make at the beginning of the game are also interesting. How you set up your bus, which direction you put your bus. Is it top down, bottom up, like left or right? It changes a little bit, like you said, the character of the run. But it's all like, it is possible to redo it all if you want. What I'm noticing more, and I think I've talked about this before playing with you, and I wanted to kind of bring it up, is if you know how to play Factorio, like the beginning of the game, pretty easily, the speed in which you research and like get technology and what do you call it? like science and research is faster than what I can keep up. And I thought that was a fact of us playing together and like, just two people working together. But I found that was still true playing alone, because your factory just kind of operates as you do stuff, right? So if you have stuff set up decent enough, you will research faster than you can get to it. So I recently saw someone on YouTube that's playing 1,000 times like science cost.
Oh my.
So like researching something, instead of taking 100 science, takes 1,000 science? 10,000 science?
100,000?
100,000 science? I don't know. Lots of zeros. I thought maybe I would do a run that it was 10 times the cost, because it does a couple of things. One, it ups the amount of raw resources you need, right? So you have to branch out. You have to go get more. You have to, go unearth more iron and copper and other things around the world. So it opens up the train game a little bit more, which I really like. But it also slows down that pace of progress. And I thought that maybe I would enjoy, like I've often talked about Train World or having to do that. I don't want a Train World to have to be just because things are spread out. I want to need more resources. So I really liked the idea of my next run, if I, whenever that is, years down the road, doing a 10 times science run.
I like that. I think that's a good idea. Although I'm not sure that I think of Factorio as a game that I need to take longer, especially in the early game. But I see your point. Like I kind of get it, because you're saying like you basically just end up with a stack of researched science that you can't, or research technologies that you can't use yet, or like because you are one person and you can't like physically build the stuff that you've researched.
Yeah, I mean, I had oil probably 4 hours before I used oil, right? I had red belts hours before I built my first red belt. I had the science unlocked, but I didn't need them yet, right? So just kind of trying to match the pace of research unlocking and using it a little tighter. Just so, I mean, I know the early game is fast, but as one person building all this stuff who doesn't necessarily have it all blueprinted ready to go, you know, I'm using more blueprints than normal, but even so, like just trying to slow the pace of that science a little bit. Even finding the unlimited science, the early unlimited science in Space Age, I think steel productivity is one of them. Like the first 4 steps are really easy. And I just find that maybe I want to slow the pace of that a little bit. Maybe 10 times is too much. Maybe like 2 or 3 times. But just slowing that pace a little bit, I think would be nice for me for a couple of reasons. The resource and the pace.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm following what you're saying here. I could see that being nice. I almost want to be like, I guess you could just do this, but I'm thinking like of something where you would have like super science that you could say like, okay, now I am ready for red belts and I need red belts right now. And I don't like, they're the next thing I have to research, but because of this 10x mod, it's going to take like, 2 hours to research red belts. I mean, I guess the answer to that is you just scale up all your stuff, right? You build more science packs and you build more, research labs or whatever. But like, I would almost feel like I would want some kind of short circuit for like maybe with like a recharging resource or something, or like, so you couldn't do it every time, but you could do it like for that one thing you really want without having to like run a cheat to do it.
Well, I would say if I was ever like truly just sitting there waiting for a research, that the balance between how much I have and how much I need is probably wrong. I would say if all of the research packs are available and I have all of the resources I need and I'm just literally sitting there waiting for research to complete, I would lower the multiple, right? Because the point is not to sit there and wait. The point is to make sure that I can continue to feed the engine and that the engine is running at around the same pace as I'm playing the game, rather than me playing the game a lot slower than the research engine is going. So I think, I've thought about this and like I wanted, what if I was just sitting around waiting for something? I probably would then lower the multiple. Like if I was at 10 and I was sitting around there waiting, I would probably go to 8. And if it happened again, I would go to 6. And that's something you can change after you start the game. So,
okay.
I think you have to maybe open the config file or something, but it's something you can change. And again, I don't know where the sweet spot is. I want the game to move a little slower to match my pace, but also require more resources and raw resource and mining and logistics, which is the part of the game I enjoy the most. So I'm trying to make that happen.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, all right. Huh. I'd be interested to try that, like, at some point. Maybe our next run.
Anyway, Factorio's fun. Who knew?
Who knew? While you've been playing Factorio, I have been deep in the halls of Mount Holly at the mansion of Blueprints. I went on a trip last week, like I mentioned, and I took my Steam Deck with me, and I have Blueprints on there, and I played a decent amount of Blueprints. Basically, all of the time I spent gaming, which wasn't a ton, but the time that I had, I was playing Blueprints. And I'm happy to say that I did roll credits on Blueprints mid last week, and then I started another run and kept on going.
I was gonna ask, did you keep going? Is there a reason to?
There is kind of a reason to. Like, there's there's a lot of unanswered questions if you care to find them. And I will also say it's one of those things where if you're paying attention when you get to the credits, like the thing where they roll credits is opens a few more questions and gets you to ask and be like, wait a minute. And then that's where you go back into the mansion and be like, wait a minute. And there's a bunch of new things to think about. That maybe some of which have been staring you in the face the whole time and some of which are truly new. But it is all in all, still a very fun game. And I found a couple of other room types that I had not seen to that point after I managed to finish, like, roll credits on it. So there's still a few things I have not seen at all in Blueprints.
What day are you on now?
I'm about day 60, I think, close to day 60.
Is there a like an in-story reason for you to have to keep doing these runs? Or is it just kind of like, I don't know, out of character now?
No, there is a good reason. So the no spoilers, no major spoilers, but when you start the game, when you first start the game, there's a letter on a table, like in the front room, right? This is not a spoiler. It's like literally in the first 10 seconds of this game. There's a letter on the table, and you read it, and it tells you like kind of the premise of the thing, and it's from your late great uncle or whatever, telling you like, hey, you know, if you can reach room 46, you get to inherit this mansion, yada yada. And then when you roll credits, that letter changes. So at first it says open in case of my death, and then after that it changes to open in case of inheritance, which is what you have done by rolling credits. So then there's new information in there, and it kind of spurs you on and says like you can keep going. Got it.
Cool.
So no spoilers, but it just says like, you know, hey, there's more if you want.
It's a new game plus mode.
Kinda, not really, but sort of. Sort of. I've discovered a couple of really hard puzzles. And I will say also, I have to admit that I have looked up one thing because I was just like, I am never going to sit here and think about this hard enough and long enough to figure this out. So I'm just going to, so that I don't burn out, I'm going to look this up and keep going.
I think that's perfectly acceptable for gamers our age at this point. Like, if it's no longer contributing to the fun of the game, go look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that, and I don't feel bad about it, and it helps me keep going. And I didn't do it for everything, and I'm not doing it for everything, but it is nice to keep moving forward. Because then 2 rooms later or whatever, I solved a different puzzle totally on my own because it was a different kind of puzzle and I could actually do that one. So it's all just what kind of hits your brain the right way, I say.
I'm always impressed with how, like, someone has to make these puzzles.
Yes, that is the impressive thing.
They have
like,
not
who
only
comes up
them,
with this?
It's not even just making them; it's coming up with them. Okay, so I mean, how much more do you have? I mean, how much more life does the game have for you?
I don't know. I'm going to keep going a little bit. I'm probably going to keep playing it for another couple weeks. I would say, actually, realistically, Blueprints will probably carry me up to the Switch 2. That's probably the most like correct way to say.
That's 2 more months.
No, it's 1 more month.
That's 1 more month.
Yes. Yes, it's like 4 more weeks. But like, I'm not playing that much. I'm not playing that many games. Like, you know, if I get sucked down a Fortnite rabbit hole, then that'll take up some time. Like, you know, so I think Blueprints I will keep going with it until the Switch 2 comes out, because then the Switch 2 will be my portable console of choice rather than the Steam Deck. So I won't be able to play Blueprints as much, and then I'll just fall off of it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
It's very much like you have to keep it in your brain. Like it's kind of like programming, where you have to like keep the model of everything that you need to know about this thing in your head, like, and keep going, or else it will just all fall apart and you'll have to like look up something to remind you what was going on.
Totally get that.
So I'm trying not to have to do that.
Yeah.
But I still highly recommend this game. Like, if you like puzzle games, I've talked to a couple people lately where they said that they didn't like Blueprints because they didn't think the puzzles were prominent enough, or they weren't like Portal puzzles. You know, like Portal like puts you in a room and is like, okay, once you get to the end of this place, you get, you know, the little dopamine hit, and you solve the puzzle, and you get to go to the next puzzle, and it's another clearly presented puzzle.
Yeah, I was going to say, Portal is a puzzle game, right? Like, that's what it is.
It's the premise, yeah, or like The Witness, or like the Talos Principle, or like those kinds of games where it's like very much just a series of essentially numbered puzzles, which is, you know, okay, that's cool. But Blueprints is, because of the randomness a little bit, and because of the layeredness, I would say, of some of the stuff, it's a different kind of puzzle game, and it's also the roguelike thing, and also you learn a lot by doing more runs, but if that frustrates you, then you may not like this game. Like, if you feel like you're wasting time.
Yeah, the puzzles are an element rather than...
Well, like, sometimes the puzzles are very meta.
Yeah, the roguelite, the knowledge gathering...
The puzzles can be pretty meta, which is tough.
Okay.
And like right now I just found a thing and it was like, oh, here's a thing. I need to figure out what this person's name is, which is like, I don't have any idea how I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to pay attention. And if I ever find this person's name, I will write it down and then I'll go do something like that. It's going to be hard to find and I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but that I could see where that would be frustrating if you wanted something where it's more like, okay, well, I just want to be rewarded for being clever about putting this box on that lever and, you know, shining this light over there or something, like, which is not this kind of game.
How full is your notebook? What did you used your iPad for notes, right?
I used an iPad for notes. I was taking a combination of handwritten and typed out notes, and actually the typed out notes in Apple Notes got messed up at one point. I was trying to make a table of something with like a grid and like with like letters and stuff in a table, and it like freaked out and moved all of my entries like around in the table, like up a row or to the right a column, I think. So it totally screwed it up. But then all of my handwritten stuff works fine. So now I've switched mostly to handwriting things with the Apple Pencil and Apple Notes. But I also take like photos of stuff on my phone. I also have screenshots in my Steam from my computer, but also from my Steam Deck, which are not syncing correctly, which is pretty annoying. It's not one shared media thing. I don't know why. I don't know how, but something's messed up with that. But anyway, I have a lot of pictures and things of little notebooks and things and blueprints. It's been very fun.
I am going to have to play this game. I don't know when, but I'm going to have to pick this up.
Yeah, if you want help, with some like nudgy hints, let me know. Like I can give you non-spoilery, non-answer hints if you would like.
Yeah, we'll see. I know a lot of people now that have played or are playing this game, and I feel like I'm missing out.
It's on Game Pass. Just play it on Game Pass.
Yeah, you're right. I know. All right, I'm going to use that to transition us to two games that I don't think either of us have played, but I wanted to talk about two games on Game Pass.
Are they both on Game Pass?
I'm fairly certain both of them are on Game Pass. I'm double checking myself now. Yes, I have confirmed that both of these games are on Game Pass. But I wanted to talk about them both because they're both in kind of a similar genre and they both kind of, I don't know, surprised us in one way or another. Obviously, I am talking about Oblivion and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. What a name. That's way too long. I'm probably just going to call it Clair Obscur from now on. But in any case, let's start with Oblivion. I've never played an Elder Scrolls game.
Me too, actually.
Okay. All right. So we're on the same page. Does this remaster release, which was shadow dropped kind of out of nowhere, kind of maybe a little bit of leak a week or two or four before, but generally shadow dropped out of nowhere. Does it interest you at all?
It does interest me a little bit because I think I have like a memory of seeing Oblivion, the first one, like in a box at CompUSA next to, things like Guild Wars and Portal and whatever. Like I remember this being a game, like a PC game in a box, and it came out in 2006, which means that makes sense. And so I never played it, never bought it, but like it was always kind of one of those like, this is the current big open world-ish game and everybody seems to like the previous one, so they're going to like this one. And it was a big deal until Skyrim. Like Oblivion was a big deal.
So, okay, so correctly. What year did Skyrim come out? Little trivia question for you.
I have it right here in front of me, 2011.
2011. That means that an Elder Scrolls game has not come out in over 13 years. And when
until this one.
When I see Skyrim, I see like a really old game at this point. That's what I see because I've never played it. I have no nostalgia for it. I don't know the storyline. So like I'm thinking to myself, and there are certain things about graphics that will just take me out of a game. I can't get, like, once it hits a certain minimum level, I'm okay with, but like this is going for realistic graphics, right? That they were attempting to go towards realistic graphics with Skyrim and obviously with Oblivion. That's just the style. So when I saw like old Oblivion, I was like, meh. And even Skyrim now, I'm just like, it's not there for me. So when I saw this and I was like, oh, Oblivion remastered, like I can, it looks so good. Like, is now my time to try an Elder Scrolls game?
I think if you were going to do it, this is probably the one to do it, because I don't think they've done like a thing with Skyrim yet, have they?
I don't think so.
This would probably be the option, I would say, if you wanted to do that. It definitely looks a lot better. I found a Reddit post, which I'll put in the show notes, that has people with like screenshots side by side of things from the original versus the remake, and it looks a lot better, which makes sense because it's almost 20 years newer. But it's just impressive how far things have come in the last 2 decades.
I'd be really interested in a Skyrim remaster. I think that's the one that would really get me. Just because, I don't know, based on what I've heard, which is barely, real data, but just based on what I've heard that Skyrim is a better game in general. And I think there's still a lot more culture and like zeitgeist around Skyrim than there is Oblivion, even after 12, 13, 14 years. So I'd be interested in that, but I may again, on Game Pass, free to try for me. I may just kind of have to peek my head in and be like, is this something for me?
Fun fact for you, according to Wikipedia, Oblivion was the first entry in the Elder Scrolls series that had fully voiced NPCs.
Oh, there we go.
So that means it's actually playable for you.
Yeah. No, okay. I've been trying the text-based storytelling a little bit, but yes, it does make this a little bit more bearable for me.
Yes. So anyway, that is an option. I don't know what else they've changed for this, but it does kind of make you wonder, especially for like an RPG game like this. This was around the same time as like Knights of the Old Republic, right? Like this is that kind of.
Oh, I mean, they've been talking about a Knights of the Old Republic remake for a long time, and oh my gosh, I would just love that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just seems like it's coming, right? Like it's got to be.
It has to. Yes, it's been rumored or it's been like leaked or whatever a lot that they were actually doing it, but then like the studio that was responsible for it, there's a whole bunch of drama around it. I don't know if it's ever going to actually happen, but it absolutely should, and I think it would do it amazingly well.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out. I mean, we are only 2 months away from the not E3 season, so maybe there's hope.
It is really nice to see old games, established IP get remakes like this, because it's an opportunity for someone like me who never played it originally to get to play it again. But I do like to call out, or I definitely want to call out, new IP when it does really well. And I think you saw this game coming and were like, yes, I'm really interested in this. I think we saw it at the Game Awards last year, maybe, or Summer Games Fest last year.
I think it was Game Awards.
Yeah. Well, there was a trailer for Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I was like, yeah, that seems kind of cool. And you really jumped on it. I think you kind of were like, yes, it's new IP. It looks really good. It looks amazing. And I just wanted to bring it up because it is also on Game Pass, which means it's the best deal in gaming. It's the right price. But it has been getting excellent reviews from the people that I listen to and the channels that I watch. So I'm really excited to hear that there had been some very positive vibes around this game since it came out. And I think of the two that we just talked about, Oblivion and Clair Obscur, I'm probably going to try Clair Obscur like either this weekend or next weekend, just to give it a little chance and see what it has to offer.
Yeah, I have heard nothing but good things about this game as well. It seems, it seems like a really good story driven. They're calling it a JRPG, but like a French JRPG, because it's set in like a French setting, which is kind of cool. I was listening to, I think it was Triple Click, and they were talking about how all of the exposition is done like diegetically. Like there's nothing that is like holding your hand and explaining stuff. You just have to kind of figure it out and piece it together and pick it up. So it's a very like, pay attention kind of story in order to kind of get the most out of it. So I guess that's something to be aware of if you go into it. But it looks really cool. I think it has a turn-based combat style, which I like. It's kind of like Final Fantasy X, where you had the turn order shown to you across the top. This shows it to you across the side. So if you have like high speed characteristics on your people, you can attack twice and cool stuff like that. So I think this looks really good. I have no idea when I'm going to play it, but when I get Game Pass again, this is definitely on my list.
Yeah, it's turn-based with QuickTime events, which I kind of like, because I'm not a huge fan of.
Okay, I was going to say
I'm not a huge fan of turn-based like combat, but I think turn-based combat with a little bit of flair is something that I could get into.
That reminds me of like the Paper Mario games. They had turn-based, but you had to like press a button to give some oomph to your fight and do all that stuff and like do blocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's I've heard Paper Mario referred to so many times when listening to the reviews of this game, and it's very funny that that's where they're drawing a lot of the comparison. But great. I think I'm really drawn to the story in this, as I've heard more and more people talk about the story of the why people are going on these expeditions, and how it's become like this rite of passage for the group of people that have to go every time. And one of the things that struck me is the people that are going on this, really no spoilers, this is the opening of the game, right? Like, the reason you go on this expedition is because every year their godlike creature writes a number on a big tree, I think it is, and all of the people that year that are that age get I like someone referred to it as they get Thanos snapped away, right? And so every year the people that are that age go on a mission to try to find why, how do we stop this, how do we not make this happen. But they referred to, or they said, as you're going, you experience other previous expeditions, and it reminded them of like the failed roguelike runs. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. That's such a cool way to think about this. But there's a lot of lore and there's a lot of history that you can learn, like if you read the flavor text and stuff like that as you're playing the game. So I really liked that. And that was one of the things that kind of drew me into the story.
Yeah, everybody's also making a big deal about how small the team is that made this game. They're impressed that it was, I don't know, a few dozen people kind of a thing, plus a bunch of other, studios and kind of other support groups, I guess. But it is a smaller studio and it's their first game. So it's really cool to see new IP from a new group of people. And it seems to be doing really, really well. And it's also not super expensive. The regular game edition, if you wanted to just buy it, is only $50.
I think this game, a game like this, is doing better because it is in a collection like Xbox Game Pass. Maybe I'm taking that a little too far. Maybe I'm, just considering it too good of a deal in gaming. But like the fact that so many people can try this game and experience it, and then that creates a buzz around it, which leads to actual game sales, I think just aids a game like this that maybe previously a new IP would have kind of been buried, next to Oblivion. It is now getting attention when previously it wouldn't have.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The problem I'm going to have with this is it's like, when am I going to sit down and do this? Like it looks like a great game and it's in Game Pass, which is awesome. But by the time that I get around to playing it, will it still be in Game Pass since it is not a first party game? And like what time will I have to play what is essentially a JRPG?
Well, it might not be in Game Pass by then, but maybe it'll be on sale, and who knows, maybe it'll come in a humble bundle by then. So you never know. I also have that problem though, is when am I going to play this? I have to play Blueprints. I have to keep playing Factorio. I have to play Clair Obscur. I have to
go for a Sheets run in Fortnite.
Yeah, I got to go on a Sheets run. I'm having this kind of like crisis right now where there's a lot to, none of them are particularly new, right? Factorio, Fortnite, Clair Obscur is new, but I'm having this kind of crisis right now where I don't have, even me who should have a lot of time to play stuff. I'm not spending my time kind of widely. I'm spending it kind of very focused right now into Fortnite, into Factorio. Wow, that might have been a slip that's going to come back to bite me. But I'm spending a lot of time in Factorio right now, and I'm feeling almost this regret that I'm spending so much time in Factorio, which is a little weird of a feeling for me. So I'm going to have to grapple with that over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I have felt that before in certain times. Like It sometimes comes, especially if you're having a relatively unfulfilling time playing an MMO, like World of Warcraft, and you kind of run out of stuff to do, but you feel like you want to keep going, and you're like, wait a minute, but I'm playing this, then I'm not playing one of the other 7 things that I wanted to be playing. And so you kind of have to make those decisions. And it's hard. I mean, I agree. But if it's something that you're enjoying, like Factorio, like I think that is worth doing because it doesn't cost you any extra money, and it's something that you wanted to do, and it's kind of cyclical, and it'll always be there, and so will all these other things. Granted, there's a little bit of a buzziness to, you know, playing something like Expedition 33 while it's still fresh in everybody's mind, but like it is a single player game. Like it's not going to change the experience meaningfully. Like nobody's going to move on without you in that game because it's a single player game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did feel that way about Blueprints, though. Speaking of single player games, Blueprints was something that I wanted to play as people were playing it, so that I didn't get majorly spoiled right out the gate.
Well, spoiled, but there's also a part of being in the conversation, right? Like part of being like it, like discovering things and having a good time with the game and being able to talk to other people who are playing it at the same time. Because the conversation is different when you talk to your friends and they say, and you say, oh yeah, I'm playing Blueprints, I found this and I you know, did this and all of that. There's a difference between that and someone responding, oh yeah, I remember doing that, or yeah, I'm doing the same thing right now, or I just got to that yesterday. Like it's a very different conversation. One of them is, in my opinion, a lot more fun to have. Like the conversation about, have you gotten this far yet? Are we allowed to talk about it? Is a very fun conversation to have.
Yeah, that's true. It's like reading a book. It's like reading a book
Yes.
In parallel with somebody.
It's a book club. It's a game club.
That's good. Blueprints is a good book club game. Yeah, I like that.
We should start a book club for games.
Well, for now, we have just a podcast about games, so I guess we'll have to live with that.
I have to get back to Factorio so I can finish Factorio so I can move on to other things. I don't even
if you
know
want to talk about Blueprints with me, you can join our Discord at discord.pnapodcast.com. I would love to see how far you are and swap stories about Blueprints, because
you can't do this because I don't know the next line.
Okay, well, I don't know, but if you want to read our show notes or find any of our older episodes, you can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com. All right, over to you, Jason.
No, Chris is doing all the heavy lifting today. Go ahead, do my next line.
If you're enjoying the show, I'd love it if you could share with others that might enjoy it as well.
Good enough.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
I was really impressed. I couldn't have done
your
lines.
That's hard to do by yourself.
I couldn't have done them.
I had to think about it. I had to stop and think every time.
I do not know your lines. I do not know what they are.
Oh my goodness, man! A little bit of memory lane, but like we used to have that all written out, like as a script.
Well, we had
that we would like refer to, yeah, like to make it consistent. We had it all written out, and now we just don't. And Jason's forgotten all the rest of it.
Well, we've talked about flipping back and forth before, right? Where I do a line and you do a line, and we do the next week we flip, because that's what we do for the intro. But like,
right.
I couldn't do that. I don't know. It's just so. What my phrase is. The problem with mine is I have to come up with a call to action at the end, and I sometimes I really, really stumble with it. But no, I don't. I couldn't do your lines. I don't know what they are.
Okay, well, I like the arrangement that we have typically. I mean, today was a little bit weird, but if we just go back to normal next time, that would be fine with me.
Okay, we could do that.